Hey everybody, I'm David.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Nina.
I'm the husband.
I'm the wife.
And I'm the dorky.
And we are married.
15 to life.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Mommy don't feel so
I've
good.
got a cold and it's been for like 84 years.
84 long years.
Layla's been my little nurse.
She's trying to take care of you.
Yeah, she's like, where have you been, Mommy?
Uh-huh.
Mommy, we just got back from family night out and about
Yay.
town, so Layla's been very clingy. She wants me to hold her.
You did not bring me home any pizza.
I know.
Okay, Layla, ready? We're going to do our plug. Here we go.
Okay, everybody. Now pay attention. We must make sure that we get to 1,000 subscribers. In order to do that, you must make sure you subscribe, you comment, you like, and you share these videos with your friends so that they will come and subscribe too. Help Mommy and Daddy get to 1,000 subscribers so we can monetize these videos. Thank you.
All
I'm
right,
sorry, you guys.
Layla.
I did not vote on that.
Oh, come on. We got overwhelming comments that Layla's voice is funny.
We all do Layla's voice.
We do it.
And Mark, it's so funny because like we've been doing it for so long and now Mark does it too.
Yes.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
We all do her little voice.
I always make the joke, we're going to get to heaven someday and Layla's going to run up to us and be like, I really talk like this.
No, she's not.
No, we base it on what her bark sounds like. Her bark is very, high pitched like that.
Playing her personality.
Yeah, she's
just a baby.
Yeah, that's what she is. We love you so much, Layla.
She's our little baby.
As we just said, though, you're not feeling so hot. I'm banged up and sore because we've been working around the house, and I've been literally working around the house all outside all day today.
We literally, our house, we got it. We've gotten it. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're trying to get it ready to be listed and stuff. And
I actually met with our realtor this week. So
at the, we have her coming over to look at everything, and we're just like shoving stuff in closets and just, you're trying to make everything look cleared off and open, and it's just been a lot of work. And I feel like everything is just everywhere.
And hopefully with the next, month or so of trips, we can get more stuff out of here. So
the garage is full of boxes already.
So that when you need to turn around and get the house ready for a showing, it won't be as bad because you already have a whole lot of stuff out of here.
Out.
But yeah, that's what's going on in our world right now. So we don't talk about it a lot on Bless Jess channel. We do it on here.
I haven't talked about our move at all, and I've gotten questions about it. I'm just trying to keep some things. I know it's you guys are private. I mean, anybody can watch these videos, but I feel like the people that watch these are just, I don't know, more of the core people. And
not the fringe weirdos.
Well, I don't know, but most people are nice, but it's just the last time that we moved, I got some weird comments, and it just got a little bit.
Yeah, people actually sought out our house and gave us comments on it and things like that. We're
and I know
let's not make that mistake
gonna
again.
happen. People are gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying not to make it a big deal on the channel, but it is a big deal in our life right now.
Yeah. Plus our kids are old enough now that this is actually really affecting them. And so we want to keep this more in the family this time.
Yeah.
But we're trying to make it work. But today's topic, let's just jump right into it because I know she's not feeling well. We both are exhausted. So we're going to go to sleep here in a little bit. But I actually came across a picture on Facebook and I reposted it with just one word, truth, in all caps. And it was a picture of a family in 1996 sitting around their living room. And the caption said, I wonder what the world will look like in 30 years. And then below that was a family in 2026 sitting around their table, just looking at their screens, looking at their cell phones. And the caption said, I wish we could go back to 1996. And so when I read that, I just began thinking, if we could pick to either go back or stay here currently with our lives the way they are, what would we choose to do? Was life better in 1996?
I mean, I was 10, so
as
I
opposed
wouldn't say it was better than
But that's what I'm saying. But knowing what we know now, if we could take our family of 5 and transport them to 1996 and sit them down there, would our lives feel better in that time? And so that was the question I thought about. And so I just started looking at statistics and things of what were some of the trends, what were some things that, and it was funny as I was reading them, I was like, oh my gosh, I do remember that. I do remember listening to that or watching that or seeing that. And so but I've got like a little bit of.
We wouldn't be doing this podcast in 1996, though. There was no podcast.
Well,
we wouldn't have YouTube.
Exactly. We would be cutting edge.
We wouldn't have YouTube. We could invent YouTube and be millionaires.
Yeah, there you go.
Billionaires.
I think Google existed in 1996, but I don't think it was anything like it is now. So,
well, but YouTube was its own thing until Google bought it out.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So all those things, just talking about, because like Jessica said, you were born in 86. I was born in 85. 1996 also was, I believe, the last year that millennials were born. So what we're going to do is I've got 7 categories here. We're not going to spend a lot of time on each one. We're just going to hit the highlights, but then we're going to just go, okay, in terms of that category, was 1996 a better year or is 2026 a better year? And we're going to put a check mark by each one. And at the end of it, if we think 1996 was a better overall year, then we're going to work on building a time machine and go back in time.
I think this is, I feel like God put us in the generation.
No, absolutely, He did. This isn't plausible. We're just having fun. We're just having fun with it. But also, it
just annoys me. Like, I know, like, there's so many things that are better when we were growing up, but at the same time, like, I feel like older people can be so down on this day and age that I want to go back to the real good time, and it's like there's good that's happening here too. Yeah, there's bad, but there was bad back then too.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a mixture of everything, and like I said, we're both childs of that. We're both children of that period, so we do have fond memories about a lot of it. But absolutely, we're in the time period in which we're in because God wanted us to live during this time period. And I'm very thankful, and we can't change the past and we can only affect the future. So it's just a fun exercise to reminisce and go back in our brains, but also compare, okay, if we know now, what would we do if we could transplant ourselves back into that time period as 41 and 39-year-olds with 5 kids? Like
5 kids. We have 5 kids.
As a family of 5 with 3 kids.
Okay.
See, I'm tired. Okay, so let's just get into this before I say any more stupid stuff. Here we go.
5 kids. I was like, where are those other 2 coming from?
Here we go. Well, we have Layla.
She's not a kid. She's a grown woman. She's just a baby.
Let's start with a boring one and get it out of the way. But let's start out with the economics. Let's start out with economy. In the year 1996, the value of the dollar was significantly more. The average gas price in 1996 was $1.15 per gallon. The average gas price in 2026, as of right now, is $3.25 per gallon. And if you had $100 in 1996, that $100 today is about $206. So for what you would need, what you could do with $100 in 96,
it's not more than a difference than that. It's like double.
It's a little over double, but yeah, if you think about it, yeah. So if you could buy a house in 96 for $100,000 in the year 2026, you would need $206,000 to buy the same house.
And good luck trying to find a house for that, honestly.
Yeah. So I mean, do you remember it being, in 1996? So you were, at the end of 1996, you were turning 10. Do you remember how big having a dollar was, because how much more you could do with a dollar?
Like a kid, though, it always felt like, a dollar's a lot. Even markets like that now. I do think, like, looking at the housing and stuff, man, the percentage wise, it would be better to be, I don't know, like, you could buy a house for $80,000. And I know, like, now our dollars, times have changed and that stuff has increased, but our income hasn't increased to balance out that difference.
The cost of living has only gone up.
The cost of living has gone up, and the salaries have gone up, but not to the extent. No. So the ratio,
the inflation.
But I will say this too. And I'm guilty of this. Back then, there wasn't Starbucks on every corner.
Correct.
There wasn't. I don't remember going out to eat a ton. Like we did, but not like it is now.
No.
I think people.
You ate at home, and eating out was
we didn't have like bottled water even.
Yeah.
Like you didn't buy water. Like there was just stuff that we are so used to running to Starbucks and getting, and I love it. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Starbucks.
There's many more ways to spend our money now.
But it's harder now to like cut back. Yeah. I feel like, and I'm sure back then there was their own stuff.
Yeah.
But, there's technology you have to buy and all this stuff that costs money.
Yeah, there's a lot more conveniences now than there were.
Oh
back
yeah,
then.
like so much more convenient stuff and drive-throughs and the fast fashion and like the furniture and all this stuff wears out more. So I just feel like it's a totally different kind of way of thinking. So
they don't make them like that anymore. I hear that all the time from my dad's generation, like when they would get a piece of furniture or like a bed or a couch or a desk or whatever. Yeah, this was made in the 70s or 80s. This thing's going to last forever, as opposed to something made yesterday.
I think it's just like such a difference in the way you think about your money. Right. And so many, I mean, I'm sure people were in credit card debt then, but I think it's just a way of life now. Like, swipe the card. I don't think people were flipping about credit cards back then. Right,
and
like you couldn't. I remember when I was a teenager, so after '96, I couldn't go fast food and go use a card.
No,
they only took cash, and so it's just so easy now. It's so easy. You couldn't swipe your card at a Coke machine.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think it's just so easy to spend, and so we have to be careful when we look at our parents' generation. They're like, "Oh, y'all had it so easy. Y'all could buy a house for $80,000." You know, yeah, and that's great. And I wish,
but they're also more limited in how much they had.
They also, I think, thought about their purchases a little bit more, and they didn't have. Yep. I'm sure some people had opportunities to go shopping and stuff like that, but it wasn't as easy. There wasn't online shopping, Amazon carts.
Right.
We live in such like a consumer driven society that everything is quick. How fast can I get it? We can look at, I mean, if our mom and dad wanted something when we were kids, they would have to go to the store and buy it. Now we can just order stuff from our house and it's delivered to our door.
Yeah. Well, now you're getting into the tech side of things.
But anyway, I'm talking about like financially.
No, but I agree.
Like that makes a big difference. Like, have you ever ordered something and then like if you had just left it alone, you probably wouldn't even want it again in a few days.
Right.
But in the moment,
the impulse is so much more. Yeah. I mean, just for me, the value of things. I remember in 1996, a 12-ounce can out of a Coke machine was 50 cents. A 20-ounce bottle out of a bottle machine was $1. When you go to the candy bars, regular candy bar was 50 cents. King size candy bar was $1. And you know, now you're going to look at a regular size. It's about the ratio is about right. A regular size candy bar now is like 89 cents to $1.
Where are you shopping?
Or $1 or a little over $1, and then a king size is like $2.49 or something. It's
crazy.
So yeah, it definitely the value of the dollar is nowhere where it was. And we just talked about gas, but that's also milk, that's eggs, that's bread, that's everything. But I
think when you look at groceries, I've seen, and I've looked at this because grocery prices fascinate me. The grocery prices, especially up until about 2020, things have gone crazy since 2020.
Yep.
But really, the prices hadn't gone up that much. Now, convenience foods,
right?
The sodas bread, you know, you can, especially back in like 2020, before everything happened, you get a loaf of bread for 99 cents. You know, that was very comparable to how it was when we were growing up.
Yeah.
But like I said, like,
can't play the coupon game anymore either. Remember those TV shows from like the early 2000s of how like they would end up owing you money? All the coupon games.
I still do the digital coupons. Now that is what I love, is you don't have to clip them anymore. They're all digital.
Right.
I still save a lot of money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the economy, the whole mindset of the economy was just so different, and we're so convenience minded now. And I mean, like, my mom didn't make everything from scratch, and we had, you know, boxed mac and cheese and stuff like that. But I'm talking about just like, hey, let's go through a drive-through. Like, that was very rare.
Yeah.
We would go to McDonald's every now and then.
Our parents actually said no.
We would go to well, it wasn't even that they said no. It just wasn't part of the cult. Nobody did it.
Right.
It wasn't a thing. Now, maybe if you worked a lot and all that, but
I mean, I'm saying it was a big deal. Like, hey, it's your birthday. Do you want to go to McDonald's?
Yeah, it was
it wasn't like,
or like, you know,
an every other day thing like it is now.
I mean, like, one of our rewards in school when I was around 10, if you had all A's, so you had all A's like all semester, they would take you to Crystal.
Yeah.
Okay. The school. I went to a small Christian school, and you could choose a corn dog or a slider. Like that was
and you worked hard to get that.
And we loved it.
Because it was a value.
And like, but that just shows you, like, now kids would be like, a corn dog for all of I did, you know?
Yeah.
But back then, like, it was a huge treat.
Yeah.
I remember like getting Lunchables, being like, you were the star of the show, you know, if you could get a Lunchable.
You were spoiled if you had that.
And now, like, oh my gosh, kids today, like, they get
here we go, kids today. There we are.
They're so spoiled. And I mean, I love spoiling our kids, and I don't think all of it's bad, but it's just a totally different mindset.
It is. So let's make a choice, honey. Economy wise, was it better in 96 or 2026?
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't know, because like it's the economy, like in terms of the prices of things
And the value of the dollar.
definitely was better back then. But like if you're talking about, I don't know, there's so many things about.
I wish we could take the perspective we had on the economy back then and live that way in our.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wouldn't want to just go back to
pull from that and pull it here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go just like, oh, it was completely perfect. Like there's so many things that I like about.
I think we had a more proper perspective of our money back then than we do now, as overall as a society. So,
yeah,
I would say
I think so. I don't know.
So I'll pick that. But
it's hard to know too, because I was also so little. Like, how did I think about money? I don't know.
Yeah,
I just go.
Well, again, if we're saying we wouldn't change our current age, we would just.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't have a frame of reference really. I'm just imagining how I would feel if I was an adult back then, but I wasn't. So
those of you that are listening to us that were adults back then, we want to hear your comments. So put those in the comments and let us know what you think. Next category, and that is one that we both have a near and dear thing about the 90s, the music.
I love 90s country. That's my favorite.
I was going to say, okay, so 1996, here were the big names. Mariah Carey, Celine Dion, Alanis Morissette, Tupac, George Strait, Shania Twain.
I love 90s country. It's still my favorite version of country.
Versus 2026, the big names are Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, Bruno Mars, Sabrina Carpenter, Morgan Wallen, and Luke Combs. That's the big names right now.
Okay, this I should just excuse myself from because I'm not a big music person. I don't really care. I know that seems weird. It's not that I dislike music. It's just not... It's not a driving factor for me. I could go all day, all week without listening to music.
Well, you said though there's a fondness you have of that time period.
Because I like 90s country because when I was growing up, that's what my mom listened to.
Exactly.
So I have all these songs in my head that I don't even remember learning, but if they start playing, I know the words.
Yeah.
It's almost like this weird.
But here's the way I think about this. Being a music person, I miss the mystique of music from back then because people weren't as accessible as they are now. I miss the when a person's voice came on the radio and you listened to them, you couldn't Google them and see where they're at currently on their tour or the latest thing they posted on their Instagram. There was this almost enigmatic view of them of, I wonder what they're doing today. I wonder what their life is really like. I wonder what songs they're working on.
I like the more accessibility of them. Now, I don't like as much. This is what I liked back then was Spotify's great. But there was something about going
CDs
to Walmart
and artwork.
And you would go and you would scan the CD and you could like preview it.
Yes.
And it was so exciting when you got a new CD and you would like listen to it over and over and look at the lyrics. And now like you could play whatever you want on Spotify. And I love that. But it also isn't as exciting. But I love being able to see like the real day to day of, hey, I follow this person on Instagram. They're eating their breakfast and what is it? But I like, that's part of like the vlogger in me. I like to see what other people's lives are like.
I get that. And there are parts of that I like too. But my whole point is that I miss back then, if you say some of these names to me, I put them in a whole different category than the people I just named from the current age. I don't see them as special as these older names because it was a big deal. You didn't see Shania Twain every day. When you paid money to buy a ticket to go see her, you saw her for 2 hours and then you might never see her again.
That's the thing,
and that made her special. That made her must see. That made her that made it where it was a treat. It was. But
when have you ever gotten to go to a concert and see Shania Twain?
But my whole point is that the way that you could not just see them all the time or hear them all the time or watch them all the time, it made them special. It made them, you had to seek them out. You had to arrange your life to encounter their music and encounter, like you said, I can't just go and listen to any of this other. I've got to wait the time until the music CD comes out, and then I've got to stand in line to get it. It just made everything more special. It made them bigger stars. It made like the level of, because you couldn't see these people, their arenas and their the mystique about them is what drove them. There's a reason that artists today look at them and almost consider them royalty. Whereas I wonder how many people today, this has been proven.
I think it's just the test of time, though. Like Shania Twain is one of those people that's been around for so long, and she's had so many
And it's the same thing with George Strait. But I was talking to my mom about this the other day. Since about 2010, how many Idol winners or Voice winners are actually household names?
Well, that's just because people...
Because the oversaturation now and the over-accessibility now, they're not as special. Whereas with back when Idol first came on, you couldn't binge it. You had to tune in and see Kelly every week, and then after it went off the air, you couldn't just find Kelly all the time. You had to look. You had to buy her tickets and go buy her CDs and things. And it's just the oversaturation of the YouTube market, and everybody can post their own music now, and everybody can create their own music, and now even AI is creating its own music. And I just think music's not as special now as it used to be. But I
don't know. I kind of like that now. There's
parts of it I love.
You can be discovered playing a YouTube song, and you can, like, you don't have to have a record deal. You don't have to have, like, all of the people that we looked up to, they had a hard time getting into showbiz. And a lot of times it was
only the cream of the crop made it to. And
sometimes it was top. Just like a fluke, like a lucky break,
or they knew somebody.
And now I feel like we almost see. I know people are going to disagree with me. I almost feel like we see more talent now because we have a lot to pull from, and we see a lot of raw, like, talent. I mean, like, I just think of some people that I think now we have more songwriters that actually write their songs, and they are more involved, and it's a bigger, like, it's more of a craft, I feel like, as opposed to, back in the day when they would, write their song, give it, the record label would tell them how they were supposed to dress, how, you know what I mean? Like, it was very managed.
It's a double-edged sword. I can write my own songs, make my own video, make my own EP, put it out there, and you can get to it immediately. The headache of that is so can a million other people, as opposed to the process of back then. There was a ladder. There was a chain of things you had to go through to get your music on the radio.
Well, I think there still is a chain though. Like, not just anybody can get on the radio. They still have to.
These days, kids, do you even know what a radio is?
Or, whatever, the Spotify top 100 or whatever
I'm just saying that there's millions of artists on Spotify, and most of them never get listened to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, in order to be successful and actually get on stuff that people are listening to, right. I mean, you could put an album on Spotify, but if nobody's listening to it,
right.
But how do these people that are successful, how are they discovered? I just think it's so different now.
Yeah, the accessibility of it and the ability to have so much more to listen to now tips 2026 in my favor. I do just miss the superstardom of the day.
I just feel like back then the management was so, like, you hear horror stories of how it was,
the abuse of the artists.
Yeah, and like the artist was almost like, they're pulling their puppet strings a lot of times. Like, you look at like Britney Spears and even like Shania Twain went to like a whole meltdown after, and like, I don't know, like, it just seems really destructive. Almost.
They were trapped in their superstar bubble and they couldn't be accessible, so nobody knew what they were going through.
Yeah.
It's
I'm sure that still happens today. I'm sure that still happens today.
It's a whole different kind of pressure now, because now you don't get a day off. If you want to be accessible to people, everybody sees what you're posting on your TikTok or your social media.
I mean, you don't have to post it. Some people don't post.
Yeah.
But I do think it's cool for the fans, and I'm sure it invites a whole lot of crazy people, but I feel like crazy people are going to find
it. Yeah.
I do think it's cool that you can get to see, because we grew up thinking like these people, you kind of forget that they're people. Right. It's like you look at, NSYNC or whatever as a kid, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're, these, but they're people just like us, Yeah.
But I do miss that. I don't want to say that worship, because people did take it to the extreme and worship these artists, but I do miss that holding them in. Oh man, it's special that I'm in the room watching them.
I get that, but I also never got to be in the room with anybody like that. So it was almost like, I remember when NSYNC and Backstreet Boys came through, and like my friends would have tickets and stuff. And that was great for them. But like, if you weren't there, then you just totally missed out. Like, you didn't, was no.
I think it's the musician in me. The thing of, I love these guys. I aspire to sing like them, write like them, play like them.
But but that's the thing. NSYNC didn't write anything.
I'm talking about Lenny, For Him, the people, Stephen Curtis Chapman, the people I grew up really idolizing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if they ever come near me, please, mom and dad, take me to their concert. As opposed to today, if I want to see these guys, I just flip on YouTube. There they are. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or flip on their social media. There they are.
I think there's definitely, I could see both sides of it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I'm gonna go with you in 2026.
You can't deny that, like, it's so nice that we have Spotify and we can play anything that we want. I don't have to flip through. I had a book of CDs in my car.
Apple Music and Spotify is why I'm picking 2026.
And I would have to flip through.
Yeah.
And you would have to spend money, and you would, and there was fun about that because it was really special.
It made the music special. Yeah.
But as you're driving down the car, you're flipping CDs, and then they would get scratched. One time, my car got broken into at school. Mm-hmm. All my CDs got stolen. We don't have to worry about that anymore.
Nope, we do not.
You can listen to those older artists on.
Yeah. We're only 2 in. Let's move. Okay. Number 3, fashion.
Oh man!
So in 1996,
fashion was rough.
They call it the peak of cool minimalism. So high fashion was dominated by Calvin Klein minimalism and the heroin chic aesthetic.
I feel like that was more like runway though. Like everyday people dressed crazy.
Made famous by Kate Moss. Streetwear saw the explosion of FUBU, Tommy Hilfiger, which Tommy Hilfiger was big in the 90s, and the oversized silhouettes such as the slip dresses over t-shirts, baggy Jinko style jeans. I remember them so well. Flannel shirts and Adidas Gazelles. Adidas Gazelles. It must be a type of shoe.
I feel like back then though, it was so much about like loud prints and big.
That's what it said. The cultural drivers were like the clueless aesthetic, plaid skirts, the influence of hip hop stars like Tupac and Biggie on the mainstream inspired the urban wear, which is where Damon John and FUBU exploded. Then you have 2026, where the look is the phygital fashion. Outfits are designed to look good both in person and on social media filters. Quiet luxury has evolved into the eco-futurism, blending high-end tailoring with sustainable lab-grown fabrics.
I don't like these because my mind goes, I have no idea what you're saying right now.
And then, so smart textiles, clothes that regulate your temperature, so breathing clothes, 3D printed footwear, a resurgence of Y2K and indie sleeve styles.
What does this even mean?
I'm just saying, I'm
not understanding any of that.
I get what it means. And then cultural drivers, sustainability is no longer optional. Resale platforms. So everything's thing about like the micro trends and is this homemade? Is it not made in a factory in China? Is it made in the USA? Is it made by people with a cause? Millennials are big on that and Gen Z is big on that. What's the mission behind your clothing brand? And then it says here, key comparison points. In the 1996, the trend of clothing was music videos and magazines, whereas in 2026, it's TikTok and AI algorithms. Silhouette of 96 was oversized and baggy clothing. In 2026, it's modular, form-fitting, and tech wear.
I don't think. Who are they talking about? Because that's not anybody I know.
Well, I mean, I do.
They ain't wearing tech wear.
No, people do. Clothing that is smart. People do wear a lot of that.
Some people, but not everyday people. You can't go to Kohl's right now and get tech wear.
I'm just saying it's the trend.
But I'm talking about what is normal people, everyday people.
Baggy jeans, loud colors, oversized clothing. The grunge look was the 90s. It was the rebellion against the highbrow.
Some people. Yeah. I wasn't wearing rebellion clothes when I was 10.
Well, yeah, we weren't.
We were wearing the side ponytail and the wild clothes and still big hair and
for the most part. It did go more simple. I agree with them. There was more of a minimalistic view.
Simple? The 90s?
In some ways. It wasn't as loud as the 80s. The 80s was much louder. It was
way louder than it is now. I mean, my gosh. Look at Saved by the Bell. They ain't no that's the simple to me.
I think Saved by the Bell, though, was still an echo of the 80s.
Honey, go back and look at some of your pictures when you were a kid. It was crazy. I would never describe that as simple.
But I mean, this is 96. I'm 11 years old. I didn't dress with the loud colors as much in my teen years as I did when I was in my singles digits.
I feel like it was still pretty wild.
But yeah, no, but I do agree that today is definitely more form fitting and definitely
not anymore though. Like Lucy, they're all about the baggy clothes, the baggy.
It's crazy how
oversized shirts, baggy pants are back. No skinny jeans anymore.
The 90s are coming back. Yeah,
or just I feel like it's just being kind of tweaked. You know, everything that goes out comes back in. They can only go so far. And like when we were 20 or whatever, it was all about the skinny jeans, and now it's going the other way.
Which is funny because skinny jeans were 70s and 80s.
No, that was like bell bottoms.
Well, bell bottoms in terms of the flare, but like the tight acid wash and all of that, that's the 80s. So I guess it just depends on.
They can only do so much.
You can only change it so much.
Change it so much.
But no, I mean, I really don't have a dog in this fight. I mean, I think today's fashion is more
I like
versatile,
maybe that there's more options. When I was a kid and into a teenager, if you wanted some clothes, you went to the mall or Walmart or something in your town, and that was it. That was your only option, unless your mom made your clothes, which I didn't know anybody that made their own clothes.
Right.
Now, I mean, there is negatives to that because people are making stuff from China and shipping it over, whatever. But there also is so many more options. You can, find an outfit that you like that you saw that somebody's wearing in, California, and you can have it shipped to your house, Yeah,
especially like it said here with social media platforms, TikTok and AI algorithms, you can look at someone's Instagram and tag what they're wearing and order it right off the app.
Or just like somebody who was more curvy and stuff. There wasn't a lot of options for that. And so there's so much more now.
I mean, I think I know your answer to this, but do you miss at all when a brand meant something? Because I don't feel like that's
I never cared about that.
I don't think I ever really did either, but that definitely has gone away. I don't think 2026.
No, it's still there. It's still there. We just aren't. We're not.
You really don't think so? You really think so?
Brands are still popular.
I mean the highbrow brands, but I don't think it's a bit.
Yeah, the kids are still wearing Birkenstocks, and it's real Birkenstocks and real Uggs.
So but is it because of the name, or is it because it's authentic? What's the name? The name?
It's all in the name.
But like back in the day, if you didn't have American Eagle or Tommy Hilfiger, you weren't cool.
It's different stuff, but it's not Tommy Hilfiger anymore. But it's. But
do you feel that with Lucy? Does she so and so's wearing this name? So
no, she has told me the Birkenstocks and all that, and I've had her try them on, and she's like, these aren't comfortable. I'm like, I know. We used to have Birkenstocks. She's not big into brands, but that's just how we've kind of raised her to be. And I didn't ever care about brands at all. Now, there is some times where you're like, this is good quality, and so it's worth paying a little bit more.
Like we've talked about with your backpacks. We know JanSport makes good backpacks. So
yeah, but I don't buy it just because it says JanSport. If it didn't say it at all, I wouldn't care. But yeah, I feel like their brands are still popular with kids. We just don't I don't care. I never have cared though.
I just wonder, is it so overwhelming? Mommy, I'm not wearing anything else unless you buy me this name. Is it really that big of a deal?
Some people, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I can't imagine that because I would never.
Yeah. I pick up 2026 with you for that reason because there's just so much.
I mean, the fashion. I feel like I look back and I'm like, ooh, we look terrible.
Yeah, some stuff looks the same though. In terms of our kids, like you said, a lot of it's the logos are different. Maybe a few of the colors are different, but it's big shirts, big jeans, long stuff.
I don't know. Maybe we'll look back in 10 years or 20 years and be like, oh, we look terrible in 2026.
And I feel like the grunge has come back, like the not doing anything with your hair. That was 90s too.
I mean, there's always going to be
yeah.
It's not, I feel like it's hard to boil down.
Yeah.
Into one type. There's so many different types of style.
Yeah. But I'm going to go 2026 with you. Television and movies. So in the 90s, in 1996, the big shows were Friends, X-Files, Frasier, ER, Dragon Ball Z. Versus 2026, we have Stranger Things, Tracker, Squid Game, Reacher, and for all you reality fans, the big reality TV show right now is Love Island. And then with movies, you have the theater and waiting for the VHS release of the tape, as well as Blockbuster and rentals and things like that, versus appointment television versus just recording the TV on your DVR / streaming whenever you want to stream. And all the streaming platforms.
I feel like I watched more TV back then because it was too. Well, and there wasn't as much other stuff to do. We didn't have our phones to look at, or pulling up a movie on Hulu. You know, we only had the TV and what was playing at that time.
Yeah.
And so I watched more TV. I enjoyed that. Now, is it convenient as heck to not have to deal with that? And if we have plans, it's so nice. I remember I used to be obsessed with Seventh Heaven when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And it would come on sometimes while we were at church. Well, there was nothing I could do. And I would like sometimes have somebody that was at home hit record and try to record it on like a tape.
Yeah.
And then half the time, like they would forget or it wouldn't record right. And so you just missed it. Like, unless you caught a rerun at some point, that was it.
Yeah.
you were out of luck.
Yeah. You wait till the next week and you've jumped a chapter of the story.
And there was not much you could do.
Right.
And so the convenience is nice. And like, remember having to buy like the TV guide stuff and all that? Like, that was crazy. And then like, when they finally could put TV Guide where it just scrolled on
its
the
own
TV
channel,
and so you would just have to watch it
to find out when your show, and it would only show you like about 2 hours ahead.
I know, like the convenience is so much better.
I will never forget the day when they finally said you can push the right button on your remote and it will go hours ahead, and you can see how far you could go, like 4 days in the future and find out when the show is coming on. And I thought that is game changing. Now I can plan my whole day 5 days from now around that show.
But like that's what we did back then. It was like, if the Cosby Show was on, we're gonna be like, my mom when she had me. She was on bed rest for 4 months when she was pregnant with me, and she could only get out of bed for like 30 minutes a week.
Wow.
And do you know which 30 minutes she chose?
The Cosby Show?
When the Cosby Show aired, that was when she was going to get up and watch, because that was a big deal back then. Big deal. And I do miss like the specialness of it.
I miss the whole family. Hey, everybody, it's coming on. Everybody get in the living room. It's about to come on.
Like I remember us watching Full House like that. And like,
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah. And that was so
Wheel
fun.
of Fortune.
It was more,
I remember so many nights, Mom, Dad, me, and Kevin would watch Wheel of Fortune live.
Yeah.
I remember that was such a big deal.
It was definitely more special.
Yeah.
But would I want to go back to not having the convenience? It would be really hard, especially like now that we do have it.
But then the other flip side of that is because it is so oversaturated. How much? What's the term now of going into a streaming service and feeling locked?
That's why I don't hardly watch TV anymore, because there's so much that it's just overwhelming, and I'm behind on everything. And it's like, if you commit to a series and you got to watch, there's so many and it's all available right now. And it overwhelms me. And I will say, like, I don't like how risque things have gotten, how like the language, like because of all these streaming services, there's no like, on network TV, there's only so many words they can say, and it's gotten bad there.
Yes.
But like, some of these shows on Netflix and all that, it's terrible. Like you can't watch it.
Yeah. Back in the day, they would never dream of letting any of these words reach network television.
Yeah. And so, but even like now, like I said, though, network TV is bad, but now go on streaming where there's no regulations at all.
Absolutely.
And you can't watch it.
PG-13 movies aren't safe anymore.
No. So I miss, like, it felt more wholesome back then.
I'm picking 1996 for those final reasons.
But I do think, like, it's hard for me to pick, like, one or the other with all of these, because there's so much good there's good.
Make your list. Yeah.
There's good and bad from both. I just wish that, you could, like, take a little bit of each, because I love being able to not have our life. It felt like back then our lives revolved around different shows.
Yeah.
I can't go to church, Mom. The Seventh Heaven's coming on, I mean, I still did. She still made me go, but
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, because if you didn't see it, you missed it. I remember like we had church on the finale of so many American Idols, and we would be in the car, like racing home
to watch it
and like turn it on,
before all your friends did, so you could talk about it with them.
And was that fun? Yes, but it was also very stressful.
It was to a degree. I mean, there's still spoilers now. It's just now, and that's the other thing. The spoilers now are worse because of social media. They'll post a 60-second clip of the show, and so you can't escape it now. It's already ruined.
Big Brother, I get hit with a spoiler so much it makes me so mad.
All the time. She'll text me and go, "I already know who won the veto." I'm like, all the time. It makes me so mad.
I don't even go looking for it.
See, that's what I'm saying. 96 was better. I'll take the gotta race home to watch it versus I just got spoiled on my phone.
But the thing I didn't like was if you had plans, and let's face it, we all got stuff. That was it. If you missed it, you missed it.
Yeah.
So I hated that.
I'm still picking 96. Tech world. I mean, we talked a little bit about this already. Pagers versus iPhones. Windows 95 versus AI and 5G internet. And of course, think about your car in 1996 versus the car you can drive now.
Hey, this is what I'm most excited about. GPS.
Yes.
Navigation.
I'm sorry.
That saves me. Y'all don't even know how much that saves me.
I'm sorry. This is going to be the easiest choice already.
There wasn't much tech back then.
I mean, now, I will say this. Has technology ruined conversations? And has technology ruined the family unit and sitting around the dinner table and talking and walking into a restaurant and seeing a family of four in a booth and nobody's talking? They're all on their phones. Absolutely. And if I could trade that, I would. But everything else about how it helps you in any other facet of your life, if you can find balance and learn how to teach your children and teach you and your spouse to put the phones away, let's talk, let's not be addicted. I'm not saying that we're good at that because we're not, but if you can find that balance and try to maintain it to where the magic and the nostalgia and the good part of the 90s before all that happened, mix in with today's modern technology and tools, you got a good balance. If you can figure out how to do it.
Because your whole world is basically in the palm of your hand.
Absolutely.
You know? And it's so easy to just pick up your phone.
It's so crazy how that little
and
phone sitting right there has more power than like 1595 computers back then.
I remember like the first time I was on a computer, like doing a book report and stuff and just feeling like, oh my gosh, it's so complicated. And, you know, the first time you get email and now it's just like second nature. And I don't know what we would do without it.
It's hilarious how Mark is so much faster. It's like they're
they're like born with it.
It's like because of just, I don't know what it is. I guess they're just surrounded by it or whatever, but like they come right out and immediately they come out and you like like while they're
like
screaming.
The babies like learn how to swipe so easily and stuff.
It's hilarious.
It's just like part of culture. And there is a lot of negative that comes with that. But like, remember printing out the MapQuest directions?
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Like having a big atlas on the side of your car.
I would be lost for days. Like the navigation alone, that is my favorite tech.
The extra safetiness of your cars. Now, but also older cars were better built, lasted longer. The parts didn't wear out as fast. Yeah. There's a lot of both sides of it.
Yeah. But man, you can't help like the convenience and stuff.
Also just being able to not have to be stranded and I got to find a phone. I have a phone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was phones in 96. I mean, I know my mom had a cell phone then, but it wasn't like it is now.
When I read pagers, I started laughing because I remember when my dad had a pager.
Oh yeah.
Beep, 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 beep. And you look down at it and you got to call that number. You got to find a phone and call that number back.
Yeah. I mean, now like it's just crazy. And it's so funny because like our parents, maybe not our moms, but our dads for sure, like because they didn't grow up with the phones, like they're not attached to them. Like they'll leave them at home and you're trying to get them and they're, they're not answering their phone and all that.
Yeah. You've been left on unread for 3-4 hours. Mom, answer my text.
So foreign to me. It's like you left the house without a phone.
I know.
Like we're trying to get a hold of you, and it's like, it just wasn't like that.
How many stories of my dad's gone to work? If mom needs me, she's going to have to call the office and the office will have to page me or the office had to bring me in. That's how they're going to get me.
I can't imagine that. It's just so crazy. Like we didn't grow up, we grew up right in the middle of it. So it's like, but like as soon as I started driving, I had a cell phone. Yeah. Now it wasn't a smartphone like we have now, but I don't know what it's like to be completely like out, disconnected.
I don't remember what that feels like either. I mean, the last time I felt anything like that was probably, early high school before cell phones were everywhere.
Even when you're driving and you hit a spot there's no service, I kind of panic a little bit because I'm like,
oh yeah,
what if you break down right now?
Yeah, what if right now is the time?
And then your podcast goes off and you're like, oh man, like we're just so used to having everything right at our hands, like banking, like everything. Like we do so much stuff all online.
Yes. Absolutely.
Paying bills. Yeah.
So 2026 overwhelmingly wins here, but you got to find that balance. Otherwise, if it runs your life and you can't talk, like it is, and COVID did not help at all. But like I weep for teenagers when I watch them. I'm like, just go talk to her. It's like they don't know how to do that. All they can do is type on a screen. So I do wish that we didn't have the dependence on this thing. We could actually look somebody in the eye and talk to them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but anyway,
there's a good and bad with everything.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. Next one. Just overall family and the family culture. So being a kid in the 90s versus 2026 and parenting your children in the 90s versus 2026. We know one of those and one side, and we know the other one and the other side. But I do think that it's
a lot more. I feel like there's a lot more danger now.
Yeah, definitely. Because again, accessibility and accessibility of them getting access to things online or being catfished or, people bullying them online. And I mean, in 1996, if you had a bully, it's because it was happening in person. You were getting shoved or you were getting your lunch money taken or whatever. But yeah, now people can bully you and your parents never know about it.
Well, and just the pressure that these kids feel to always be posting happy, good stuff, and people are critical. Like, you can't, I mean, I know this from 10 years on YouTube. You can't post anything without somebody having a negative opinion of it.
Absolutely.
And so these kids are growing up in this like very high pressure. I can't imagine that. Like when we were even in college, like the only thing I was posting was like little Facebook statuses, like I'm happy today or whatever. But
at the same time, what do you do? Just not let your kids have any social media, which a lot of parents are choosing to do that.
No, I mean, I think, but that's where the balance. I mean, we don't let our kids have social media, but I think if you shelter them too much, though,
right,
then they grow up and they get out of your house and they don't know how to handle it. So I don't know. It's hard.
It's the other way too, though. Being a kid in the 90s, I think we had better relationships with friends. I think family time was more special. Because we weren't competing with as much technology.
That's true.
At the same time, there were things about, like I said, there were things different about, the accessibility of technology to our children now that are able to do more.
Like, our kids have always lived away from family and cousins and stuff.
Imagine Lucy, never being able to FaceTime Grammy and Grandpa.
Yeah,
never being able to FaceTime
Lucy
Nani and Poppy.
Gets to have games and play on FaceTime with her cousins all the time.
Yes.
When I saw my cousins, Christmas and Thanksgiving, that was it.
Unless you called them on the phone.
And we never did that. Like there was long distance and and so, and what are you going to just talk to your cousins? Just, hey, how are you? They actually like can see each other and hang out. Like they're hanging out in a...
Jessica, get off the phone. I got to call your grandmother.
I know. The dial up and all that. And so, man, like I look at them and I'm like, man, I wish I had that when I was a kid. I wish I could have just called up my grandparents or called up friend. Like Lucy will be on FaceTime with her cousin all day, and it's like they're just hanging out.
But at the same time, because of everything we said, the culture is much more toxic now.
Yeah.
The culture is definitely much more dangerous now. Everybody can voice their opinion and get immediate feedback on it. And there is the self-respect as well as mutual respect has all but evaporated. Now, it's hilarious how you cannot have any difference of opinion because it's so easy to just jump on it and make the whole world about you.
Offended.
As opposed to 1996, people's skin was tougher. If you disagreed with me, okay, no big deal. Let's go get a sandwich.
Yeah.
As opposed to now, if you disagree with me, I don't want you in my life at all. I'm blocking you. I'm dropping your number. I don't want to see you again.
Well, too, like being a mom now, I will say like there's so many opinions that come on you. Like our parents, they didn't know. Like, I mean, they had people opinion maybe in their life. Hey, you should put, feed your kid this type of formula or whatever.
Yeah.
But moms today, like new moms, and we are bombarding them with just all kinds of pressure. You're not doing this right. You're not doing that right. You should be doing this with your kids. It's just like our parents didn't have that.
I mean, we've gone down the rabbit hole about this stuff, but especially if you have a child with special needs, the accessibility of tools and resources today. Because I grew up in a period with a special needs brother who did not have all those resources, and nobody even knew what to do with an autistic kid. You did the best you could with it. Whereas now the training and facility, now we can get into the whole thing of, well, with the advance of all this stuff and everything else, has autism increased and whatever? I don't want to get into that because there's really, people can't still, it's still an enigma. People still can't pinpoint exactly why autism is what it is or whatever. And we're not here to talk about that. All I know is in 2026, I'm glad that Nate has the ability to be himself in 2026 as opposed to what my brother had to go through in the 90s.
It's definitely there's more awareness and support. And,
autistic kids in the 90s got bullied or beat up.
Yeah, and I'm sure that still happens some here. I mean, but I will say, like, when we found out Nate had autism, I was worried about how he would be treated. And I've been blown away by the love and support. I mean, not from everybody, but for most people that come into contact with him, they understand autism in some way. Hey, I have a cousin who's autistic, or my nephew is. Like, they relate to it. So many people we've come into contact with are like that. Yeah. And if not, like, they are interested and they want to learn. And so I feel for your mom and dad who were, raising a special needs child before there was a lot of support and understanding. I can't even imagine how hard that was.
It was very difficult. But
I do think, like, there was definitely good things about being a family in the 90s. There was definitely less pressure. There was more togetherness.
Yeah.
Just the rat race, I feel like wasn't as bad.
There was less comparison too. I mean, there was comparison, but it wasn't, again,
you didn't post on Instagram, look at my star student, you know?
With the advent of Facebook, so thankful and humbled to watch my kid be valedictorian and 500 million people see it, as opposed to, hey, by the way, did y'all know that so-and-so's kid made valedictorian? And that's that's the only thing.
Hey, look at our Disney World trip, I remember, like, people would come over to our house and we would show them vacation pictures, like when we got back from Alaska.
Remember when your grandparents had the old slideshows?
But we had digital cameras or whatever, but we would show them the pictures.
Yeah.
Now you just post it on Facebook and, like, anybody can see it.
The old projectors and home movies.
We love to do home movies. Yeah. Now, like, our kids they are one big home movie.
Bless Jess is a 10-year-long home videos. So
I mean, again, though, like, it's hard for me to say which one's better. Like, they're just different.
Again, as with all these categories, let's try to capture the best of both worlds and try to make it happen today. And then, of course, last but not least, because it's most important, that's our faith.
Yeah.
I mean, just thinking about this, I do think it's harder. Yes, it's much harder to live for Jesus in 2026 than it was in 1996.
Okay, so I think of this two ways. Like, yes, like, when I grew up, almost everyone I know went to church. Like, it was just like, we just did. Like, it wasn't like abnormal. Now I think it's not always like that, and so
we are now, as of the COVID era, we are finally at a postmodern country when it comes to Christianity.
But I will say there also, though, is so many tools that we didn't have. I didn't have a way to read my Bible and do the Bible recap and have understanding to click on a sermon in, wherever and watch and learn. And these Bible classes, you can just YouTube, if you wanted
the information is there if you want it.
Yeah. And before, like, you would have to go to the library and hope who would do that?
Right.
Learning, you would grow in your church, but
buy a commentary, buy a lexicon, buy a Hebrew or Greek dictionary. Yeah.
But like, as a kid, like, I'm so grateful for my foundation and stuff, but I just feel like we only learned as much as the church and our parents could teach us.
And now pastors could teach us. Yeah.
And now, like, we have so many more resources, and I mean, it's two-edged because I do think it's harder now because there's all kinds of other issues, but when you look at apples for apples, I found that I have grown so much more in my understanding of God's word and his church and everything else to be able to connect. Like, I'm in Facebook groups where I can connect with other believers who are in a similar situation as me, as opposed to being in a church where there's no one else that has a special needs kid, and we can
and the only time you could
other.
Be in a group like that is if you went to a conference and they had a breakout session.
Right. And then what? And then
you'll never see them again.
And when am I ever going to even have time to do that?
Right.
And so I think there's so much more just accessibility.
Yeah.
We can watch a church service from anywhere.
Any church
pretty much is live streaming now.
Yeah.
And that's also not always good.
Right.
Because there is something to be said about being in person. It's just better. But if you can't be there for whatever reason, if you're sick, like, I know when I had my health issues as a teenager, I couldn't go to church.
Right.
There was many times where I was in a wheelchair. Like I just couldn't. And then I went through my AVM stuff and I had headaches and all this stuff. And
yep.
one of my friends, Shay, would come and sit with me, and some of my other friends would come and sit with me, and we would just watch TV or whatever. I felt so excluded. There was no way I could be in church.
Right. And life would move on and you weren't able to move with it.
Yeah. And so I just wonder like how it would feel if, back then it wasn't like that, you know?
No, for sure. The only flip side to it, which is again, trying to find the best of both worlds, is because we are so oversaturated with so many tools and so many things. If we're not careful, you can lose the awe of the supernatural. Because if any of the tools we had today appeared in our hands in 1996, a lot of people in the faith would say this is witchcraft. The fact of that this stuff is materializing, or we can just all of a sudden do this. No, there's a process. You got to go get the book. You got to talk to somebody, whatever. No, you can just watch it. A lot of this stuff would be literally unbelievable. We would have to literally accept it as supernatural because it's not physically possible. Whereas now, the thought of hearing someone say something to you that you can't see, podcast. Being a part of something that you can't physically be there, live stream service. Whereas with your faith, there is no app for a relationship with Jesus. There is no shortcut to growing other than spending time with him, being in his word, applying his word to your life, listening for his voice, doing what his word says every day. That it's the same today as it's always been. And so a lot of times, unfortunately, 2026 Christianity, they try to replace the authentic relationship with Jesus with all these things. Yeah. I live for Jesus. I listen to this preacher. I watch my church stream every year. I'm always in church. The religious spirit still exists. It's just more techie now, as opposed to back in the day. I never miss a church service. I always give. I always serve. I'm active in ministry. Some of that stuff still exists now, but just add on the tech. I listen to all their podcasts. I read all their books. I listen to their live streams, whatever. Okay, great, all of that. But do you still have a personal one-on-one relationship with Jesus? There is no app for that. There's only tools to help you, but you got to apply it to your life.
And that's the thing, like all of these things are tools. And if you're not applying them and working on a relationship and getting closer to God, then it's just checking a box.
Exactly. That's the only danger of.
But like you said, like
culture.
that happened back in the day too.
It did. It just was different ways. Yeah.
And I will say, the church when we were growing up was so legalistic.
Much more.
And I think it breaks my heart. It makes me angry because so many people I know that grew up in the 90s have run from the church.
Right.
Because the church hurt them. And they were so hard on them, and they were so legalistic, and they said everything was evil and all this. And and then my friends grew up and said, well, if that's what God is and that's what the church is, I don't want any part of it.
Right.
And so I think people are a lot more careful about that. There's still people that are legalistic.
Yeah.
But we have to be careful to not put our rules on and just love people. That doesn't mean we lie to them and not tell them God's word and not tell them the truth.
Right.
But there are so many things, like I remember, like this movie is, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is evil, and you shouldn't, like, it was just stupid stuff.
Yeah.
If you watch this movie, you're going to hell. There was just so much stupid stuff, and it's like you put all these like
unrealistic expectations.
And that goes into works.
Yes.
That's not having a relationship. Not you're going to go to hell because you don't have a relationship with God. You're going to go to hell because you watched this Disney movie.
Correct.
And that's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just like I said, the religious spirit has just morphed the other way now. Now everybody's religious.
Yeah.
Now 80% of America says they're Christian when we know that's not true. There's just this overwhelming thing of, well, yeah, I believe there is a God, and I believe in Jesus. Okay, so does Satan and the demons. There's an application, same as back then. The more you are in God's word and have a relationship with Jesus, the more like him you're going to become. And we read in the Gospels how Jesus was towards religion and how Jesus was towards helping sinners find him and find what life was really all about. Same is true in 2026. Jesus is the same way towards that religious spirit that's all about, I do all these things, so I must be okay with God, versus I don't have a relationship with him. I need one. Help me understand what that is and how to get there. It's the same thing. It's just in a whole different pattern of things? Is there still if you do this, you're going to hell spirit today? Yeah, but it's not near as common. Now it's everybody's saved.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing everything. Yeah. Everybody's going to be okay. There's so many ways to heaven. We're all going to be there someday as long as you do all. And again, that comes with the oversaturation. Anybody can learn the jargon, listen to a bunch of podcasts, read a bunch of books, and skate their way through.
And it's just the culture of today too, of being accepting and loving towards everyone. And I do feel like we should be loving towards everybody.
Yes.
But we also have
what's your definition of love?
Right. Love isn't not telling them the truth.
Agape love is loving the person, not loving the sin.
And realizing that we love people and we don't want them to go to hell. Correct. We want to share God's truth with them in a loving way, though. Like, we don't want to, the standing on the corner yelling at people, it doesn't work.
No.
And it breaks my heart when people.
And thankfully, there's not near as much of that as there used to be.
No, I don't think so. And like you said, it's gone the other way. So I like all of these. Like there is so much good that's come from advancement and technology and
I use it as tools. When people have questions with me, I say, hey, listen to this, and then let's talk about it. Listen to this podcast. Watch this video clip. This is kind of what I'm talking about. You can use the tools to bring people to a place of conversation. It's just, again, don't substitute somebody's podcast or somebody's commentary or that church service, like you said.
It all should be pointing you towards God.
Don't be a part of the body, but say, well, I have a church because I always watch them online.
That's the thing. Like I was saying, like there's no substitute for being in church and to be connected. Like you need to be connected.
The family.
You need to be serving together. You need to be giving. You need to, like, it's for you. God doesn't need you. He has everything.
Right.
But you need him.
But he wants
you, and he knows what's best for you. And what's best for you is to be involved and to be giving. And it's for you. And so if God wanted a bunch of robots, he could have made a bunch of robots, but he gives us free will.
Yep.
And so, anyway.
No, it's all good. No. So, I mean, I love comparing this stuff because, again, I'm sure when we're in our 60s and our kids are looking back going, I remember in the 2020s versus the 2060s, as opposed to
like my pet peeve though is like when older people are like, oh, it was just so much better back in the 50s. If we could just go back to the way it was in the 50s, and it's like, you have to be able to look at the good.
But we're doing that right now. We're talking about how,
but we are looking for the good though. But so many people like paint these rosy pictures of how wonderful it was.
Right.
We should go back to singing only the songs written in 1952, and we should only have the style of carpet that they had back then because it was so much better. And it's like, times change, people change, and God is still moving today.
Yes.
He's doing a new thing today, and who are we to keep God in some kind of box that, or like even life, like everything was better back then. We should just go back to that.
Again, flip siding though, but now nothing special. There are no moments that we can circle and go, I remember when God did this in my life. I don't think
that's true.
I'm just saying, if we're not careful, it can be, because we've lost that awe. That there's the advent of technology and the advent of social media, unless you have a really impactful moment with God that isn't tied to a clip or an audio bite or all of that, you lose that semblance of...
See, this is what's different for me that I just don't understand about church people sometimes. My amazing experiences with God, none of them are in a church service. Have I had great moments of God in a church service? Mine are just in the still quiet moments of everyday life.
Right, which is rare. And that's what I'm saying. Most Christians, even in today's culture, they're living for the next high of the next church service.
And I don't understand that. Like, it's like this hype thing.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to, church is great, but it's about us all coming together.
Right.
And so when we always are looking for the next high in a church service, the next word and all, it's like God can speak to you wherever you are. And church is great. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have great moments in church, but it seems like sometimes people are only looking for those special moments.
Right.
And, you know,
I'm just saying, we can't keep pointing to our parents and grandparents' generation. Our generation's just as guilty of it.
Oh, yeah. But I haven't heard very many 40-year-olds say.
Yet.
And this has always been my prayer, God. I don't want to be 70 years old telling my great-grandkids, well, you just should have seen church back then.
Yep.
Y'all don't know how to do it right. Like, I want to be encouraging to them. I want to be lifting them up and saying, God is doing a new thing and this is awesome. And, like I get it must be hard to see change. We've seen change.
What I think I was about to say, because of the advent of everything we've talked about, our generation is more used to change. Yeah. Our kids' generation is more used to change. Yeah. And so there isn't this memorialization of how special this was, because okay, there were advances in some things, but for a long time period, not much really dramatically changed, and then until everything just dramatically changed. And so, yeah.
I wonder, like, as our generation gets older, if it will be just easier for us to accept it, or we'll still be like, oh, I don't like this new stuff.
Like I said, I think the danger for us and for our kids is nothing is special, because everything's moved. Everything's always moving. So it's going to be different next week. In 10 years, who knows? Who cares what it's going to look like? It's going to be different than it is now. As opposed to any of it being, oh man, this is special. Let's enjoy this while we have it, because we know this is going to change. This is special.
I don't know. So, like, I just feel like putting these special things, it makes it seem like nothing is ever going to be special again.
The Bible talks about that.
Yeah, it's like remembering that,
set up a marker, remember the moment, as opposed to a lot of times, I can't remember the last time God did something in my life. That's not good.
Well, what I'm saying, though, is a lot of times people put markers on stuff that isn't something God did.
No, I agree with that 100%.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm
just saying, our parents and grandparents' generation, they had big markers that became idols. Our generation, our kids' generation, will have the danger of never having any markers. And so we've got to teach them to make a moment with God. Don't forget God did this for you. Don't forget God.
No. Like, I don't understand that, because every day I feel like our kids are seeing God do miracles in our life.
But how much of that is imprinting on them? I'll never forget that Jesus did this. I'll never forget.
I think a ton. Like, to me, it doesn't have to be like a certain service that happened.
I'm not talking about a service. I'm talking about an impact on them personally.
I don't see how that wouldn't happen.
Because then it gets drowned out by social media, technology.
I don't think so.
That.
Like, we talk all the time about like all the moves we've had and stuff, and we talk to the kids all the time about like what God's done and how He's worked and how He's working. And I don't know. Like, I don't see that.
Again, because we're intentionally doing that. I'm saying that not everybody is like us.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, but we've got to be sure that
because we know like God is moving. He's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And so if you are watching for Him, you'll see Him.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. Like, we just got to make sure that it's more than a church service, and it's more than hype, and it's also not drowned out. You have to hear, especially with so many more voices now than our parents and we growing up ever had to deal with.
And I think that's why the church services kind of, I have ADD when it comes to church services.
Yeah, you do.
And especially, you got the kids, it's just chaotic.
Right.
I hear God the most when I'm away from all that.
As you should.
Because it's chaotic.
Yeah.
I have great moments at church. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. No, I hear the voice of God in the pastor, and I hear the voice of God in the evangelist and everything. But no, the moments that I distinctly remember the most. But again, you've got to train your children and your grandchildren to get away from the noise, turn off the phone, turn off the TV, turn off the streaming, turn off all of that. What does God sound like? Mm-hmm. There's only one way to learn that. And that's what I'm saying is if you don't, our parents and grandparents, they didn't have all these distractions. So it was easier for them to have these moments they'll never forget, because that was a big deal to them. And as opposed to, I think I hear God say, oh, Taylor Swift's new song just dropped. You have to make the moment. You have to make these moments, and you have to be intentional about them. Write them down. The Bible says, write it down. You have to, when you do feel God speak something or God did something, don't wait, because with today's advance of everything, by an hour from now, something else is going to distract you. Yeah. So you got to write it down, vlog about it, whatever you can do to capture it and make it mean something, so that when you go into a season of your life, you can go back and go, I remember God did that.
And that's what's helped me so much in this season. Not that I'm a pro at this, and this has not been very hard, because it has been, and it's still hard, but I just keep thinking, like, every time we've moved, every time we've struggled, every time we've had financial difficulty, every time we've had whatever it is.
Look what the Lord has
God has
done.
never, ever let us down.
Never.
He's always gone above and beyond to show us that He's there, to be with us, to care for us. And it's like, that's why you have those moments, is to look back and go, if he's been there, then he is going to continue to be. And that's what's so powerful about having those moments. Not to memorialize the place, the time,
There's something special about that building, that time, that service. I need to recreate that. That's not what it's about.
It's memorializing God and what he has done.
Yes.
And realizing that he may do it totally different this time.
Yes.
He probably will, because he likes to change things up.
Yes. He always changes his method. He never changes his message.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's so helpful when you go through the hard times to look back and go, I have so many, ever since I was a kid, of just examples of how God has taken care of me.
Yes.
And he is a good father. And you just remind yourself of that. And you remind yourself of all the things that are true, because the enemy is going to come in and say, he doesn't care about you.
Right.
Look what's going on right now. Like, everybody's left you, like all these things. And you have to remember what the truth is.
Yep. You do. It's all good. It's why my lingering favorite song right now of the last decade is "Do It Again" by Elevation. I've seen you move. You move mountains, and I believe you're going to do it again. You made a way where there is no way, and I believe you're going to do it again. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. Yeah. Great is your faithfulness. That song will never get old to me. I'm getting choked up quoting it right now because it's just been such an anthem in my life. There's been several times I've driven down the road in dark seasons and just yelled the lyrics out to God in prayer, saying, you will never fail me. You will do it again. And again, having that, and I'm hoping I know our kids are going to learn to do that, and our grandkids are going to learn to do that, because we're going to make sure we teach them how to capitalize and make these moments for their lives, so that when the noise comes in, social media comes in, advance of technology comes in, the notifications go off on crazy on their phones, it never drowns out what's real, and that's their walk with Christ. They have to have that. So this has been a fun exercise. I knew it would generate a lot of good content and a lot of good conversation, and it has. So if you've been listening to this on an audio podcast platform, I hope you guys will give it a 5-star rating if you haven't already. Make sure you leave us some comments as well in the Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you're listening to. Leave us some comments there so we can see them. Also, we are one episode away from episode 70, which is our next Ask Us Anything episode. Thank you to all of you that have already submitted questions. We need more. Please make sure you answer those questions again in the comments, or send them to us lengthy if you have them at married15tolife@mail.com. Sweetheart?
If you're watching on YouTube, it'll definitely help us out if you'll make sure that you are subscribed to our channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and leave us a comment down below. Click the bell to be notified when we post new videos.
Take me away, I don't mind, but you better promise me we'll be back in time. Huey Lewis in the News.
What?
Back to the Future. I love that movie. But yeah, whew. It's funny when you think all these things we've thought about now with 1996, and how we could transplant any of that stuff into 2026, or transplant any 2026 back there. But I gotta say, like we've talked about, I'm thankful for where we're at right now.
Me too.
Here's the other thing: 1996, you and I didn't know each other.
That's true.
Our
kids didn't exist.
That 11-year-old had not met that 9-year-old yet, and
creepy.
And we had no.
We would not have been friends either.
And we had was
nothing in common.
No way in the world of knowing we would ever be married or have 3 beautiful children and a little dorky.
Yep.
And we are blessed. I love you so much, honey.
I love you too.
Until next time, everybody. I'm David.
I'm Jess.
I'm the husband.
I'm the wife.
And we are married.
15 to life.
Have a good 90s, everybody, and a great 2020s. We love y'all.
Bye.